Hello and welcome to Nullitaire Gaming, where we play games with 0 players, or in other words, we play bots against one another. And in this series, we've been playing Imperium, both the Classics and the Legends boxes together. And we've been putting all the factions up against each other in a single elimination tournament. And this is the end of the tournament. This is the final confrontation to determine the overall winner. So if you haven't seen any of this tournament, I suggest you go back to the beginning and watch it from there. I will put a link in the description of this video to the entire playlist, so you can watch it from the beginning if you like. Okay, so I'm going to show you where we stand right now in the tournament. This is the bracket. So we've played all of these games so far, and we come down to the final game. It'll be between the Atlanteans and the Celts. So whoever wins this will be the ultimate winner of the entire tournament. Okay, let's set it up and get started. Okay, we're set up and ready to go. As always, I've determined who will be first player and who will be second player randomly. So it turned out that the Atlanteans will be first player and the Celts will be second player. Okay, so the top row represents the first player, and their deck is in line with that, the Atlanteans. And the bottom row represents the hand of the second player. Their deck is in line with that. Okay, and as always, I put these post-it notes over the tables that I don't want to accidentally look at, so that I can just focus on the correct tables. Okay, one other note, the Atlanteans start out as an empire. They're a little bit different than the other nations, so they don't have the full moon card in their dynasty deck that will turn them into an empire. They start out that way. Okay, and so they only have one table that they'll use for the entire game. All right, I think that's everything we need to cover. So let's get started with the first turn, the Atlanteans. Well, the Atlanteans are serious. They come out swinging by rolling a 6. And the first card is Unrest. Simply goes back to the Unrest pile. Next card is, hey, more Unrest, okay. Next card is a Region, Thule. Okay, which is Region, Pinned, and Empire. So going to their chart, we take the first thing that's relevant here. Okay, Region. Exile a card from the market and play this region. And as always, when bots exile cards from the market, they take the first card from the left that has no tokens on it. So they'll skip over Mercenaries with the token, and they'll exile Art. Next card is another region, Elysian Fields. And so it looks like we're going to have a repeat. Okay, exile a card, play this region. This time they exile Elders. Last card for the Atlanteans, some more Unrest. Okay, that's it for the Atlanteans. They don't place any progress in the market because they rolled a 6. They will simply refill their hand. Celts' turn now. They roll a 3, and they'll begin with Advance, which is a Barbarian card. Okay, so looking at their chart, we take the first thing that's relevant. Okay, Barbarian. It's the first thing relevant. Okay, breakthrough for an uncivilized card and put this card into history. So as always, when bots break through for a card, they take whatever's in the market first, and they'll only go to the decks if the card they want is not available. But there is an uncivilized card in the market. It's Oracle here. It's the only one, so they'll take that. And since they're breaking through, they'll leave behind the Unrest and just put that on top of their deck. And the Advance card goes into history. Next card is Unrest. And then we have Glory. Which doesn't have any markings on it, but I believe it's a named card here on their table. Yeah, there it is. If able, abandon 3 regions to gain the top fame card. No, they don't have any regions in play. Otherwise, discard the top dynasty card, and you take Unrest. Again, as always, you refers to the solitaire player, because these bots were designed for solitaire play. So we have to reinterpret that for Nullitaire. So U refers to the other bot. So the other bot has to take Unrest. Okay, so they're going to discard the top card of the Dynasty deck and force the Atlanteans to take Unrest. So Dynasty deck into discard, and so a little Unrest for the Atlanteans. Last card is a region, Celtica. So I think that will be here. Gain 1 population and 1 material. Play the region and exile the card from the market. They will exile Metropolis. The Metropolis card that was just exiled was replaced with another Metropolis card. I only pointed it out because if you see it in the video you might think it's a mistake. But no, the Metropolis card was exiled and the next card just happened to be Metropolis again. Okay, that's the end of the turn for the Celts. They're going to place Progress on the 3 card in the market. This will slide down and they will refill their hand. Back to the Atlanteans. They roll a 5 this time and start with a region, Hesperides. Okay, so we should have pretty much the same thing as last time. Exile a card from the market, play this region. Now the other Metropolis gets exiled. The next card is Flood, which is an Empire card. It's the only symbol on it. So I think that's going to be the first thing. Yep, here. If able, history a played region to acquire any. Alright, the way they wrote this is really kind of unusual. But we've seen this before in previous videos, so we know what to do. Otherwise, break through for a region, put this card into history. Alright, to history a played region means to take the most recently played region and put it into history. And then to acquire any means acquire any card from the market. It's just usually that is said like this: acquire, and then they just list all the possible icons. But for some reason here it says acquire any instead of this way, which is the normal way they write it. Again, my theory is that this just did not survive, this survived an edit, I think, is what happened. I think it was supposed to be changed to something more like that, and somehow this got overlooked. Anyway, that's how we'll do it. We'll take the most recently played region, we'll put it into history, and they'll acquire any card from the market. So bots always acquire the card that has the highest value when they can. So, and treating the asterisks as 5, that makes this one the most valuable one. The asterisk counts it as 5, and the progress counts as 1. So this is worth 6, and that's the most. So they will take this. They're acquiring it, so they take the unrest as well. And it just goes right on top of their deck with the unrest on top. Okay. The next card is another flood, so we'll get a repeat because they do still have regions in play. So they'll put a region into history, acquire any card, and then the flood will go into history. The card worth the most now is Civil Service, which is worth 4, so they will acquire that. And it's another flood. It's a wet day in Atlantis. Alright, well, they do have another region in play. They have one more, so they can do it again. Put that into history, acquire any, and this flood will go into history. This time the tributary, Assyrians, is worth the most, so they will acquire that. That's the end of the turn for the Atlanteans. They'll place Progress on the 5 card. Slide this down and refill their hand. The Celts' turn now. They roll a 1 and start with Oracle, which is an uncivilized card, also barbarian. Okay, I think uncivilized comes before barbarian, so I'll do that. If able, acquire an uncivilized card. Yes, they can do that. There's one in the market. There's 2 in the market, actually. Otherwise, gain 1 population, put this card into history, and you take unrest. Okay, so they're not going to do that part. They're just going to acquire an uncivilized card. And there are 2 in the market they could take. Elders worth 1, City worth 1. So they're tied for victory points. So the first tiebreaker is whichever one has the most tokens on it. In this case, they're both tied again with 0. Second tiebreaker is they just take the one in the lowest numbered spot, which means furthest to the left. So they will acquire Elders. Next card is Conquer. Okay, be very careful with this card. I made this mistake before, which made me have to refilm a whole video. So, Conquer is a named card for the Celts. So, if Abe will spend 3 population, no, they don't have that much, to break through for a tributary, so they won't do that. Otherwise, if Abe will acquire a region, yes, they can do that. Otherwise, force the Atlanteans to take unrest. All right, they'll do the second thing. They can acquire a region. There are 2 regions in the market, both worth 0 victory. No, sorry, this one has a progress on it, so this is worth 1. They'll take that. Okay, next card is a pinned card, Cauldron of Caradwyn, I think is how you say that. Close enough, I hope. All right, it's pinned. That's the only symbol on it. So we're going to go to pinned. Nothing else is relevant. Put this card into history and force the Atlanteans to take some unrest. Okay, last card for the Celts is Cattle Raid, an attack and barbarian card. Attack is their first priority, so it'll be that. Steal 1 population and 1 progress. Well, the Atlanteans don't have any materials. Did I say population? Steal 1 materials and 1 progress. The Atlanteans don't have any materials, so they can't steal that. But they can steal a progress. So they will do that. Okay, it's the end of the turn for the Celts. They'll place progress on the 1 card in the market and refill their hand. The Atlanteans roll a 5 again, and they begin with Prosperity, which I believe is named on their chart. Yep, here it is, Prosperity. Gain 1 progress per played region. Oh, well, they just got rid of all their played regions, well, with the floods. So they don't have any regions in play. You may draw a card. Okay, again, you refers to the solitaire player for these bots, but we interpret that to mean the other bot. And bots don't draw cards because they don't have hands in the traditional sense of a hand. So this just means that the opposing bot will discard a card from the top of their deck. Okay, well, this doesn't do much, but it does do something. So long as an instruction does something, we do it. If it does nothing at all, then we go back and just carry on down the line looking for the next relevant option. Okay, but this does do something. It forces the Celts to discard a card. So that's all that's going to happen here. Okay, next card is Unrest. We'll probably see a lot of that in the next few cards. Next card is Assyrians, a tributary card. Okay, let's see. No, none. Okay, they don't have tributary on here, interestingly. Okay, so we're going to get down to Other. Place the top card from the Dynasty deck into the discard pile and put this card into history. Alright, so top card of the Dynasty deck, and the Assyrians go to history. Next card is More Unrest. Okay, that's the end of the turn for the Atlanteans. They'll place progress on the 5 card in the market. Slide this down and refill their hand. The Celts roll a 1 again and start with a region, Lowlands. So we're going to get to region, yeah. Gain 1 population and 1 material. Play this region, exile a card. They will exile City. Next card is Unrest. And then Elders. Okay, Uncivilized card. Nothing else going on with that card. So Uncivilized. If able, acquire another Uncivilized card. Yeah, they can do that. Otherwise, blah, blah, blah. Okay, they're not going to do that. They're just going to acquire an Uncivilized card. There's only 1 in the market. City over here, so they'll acquire that. Last card, very exciting. Unrest. Alright, that's the end of the turn for the Celts. They will place progress on the 1 card in the market and refill their hand. I think they're going to run out of cards, though. They only have a couple cards here. Yeah. Okay. So they've run out of cards. They still have more cards to draw here. So take the top card of the Dynasty deck, put it into discard, and shuffle. The Atlanteans roll a 5 again. It's 3 in a row. They just do not want to play their 5 card. Okay, the card they do want to play, though, is Civil Service, which is pinned, and Empire, and Civilized. Okay, pinned comes up first. acquire any card, put this card into history. So they will take this tributary, Egyptians. Next card is Unrest. Get rid of that. Next card is more Unrest. They'll get rid of that. And the next card is Mercenaries. Empire and Civilized. Okay, well, we're going to get to Empire here. If able, history a played region. They can't do that, they don't have any in play. Otherwise, break through for a region and put this card into history. They'll do that. There are 2 regions in play to choose from. They'll take the one with the higher value, which is Grassland. Okay, that's the end of the turn for the Atlanteans. Place progress on the 5 card and refill their hand. Back to the Celts, they roll a 2 and they start with Boudica, which is an attack and barbarian card. Attack is their first priority, so that should be it. Okay, they're going to try to steal a material and a progress. Well, again, the Atlanteans don't have any materials, but they do have some progress, so they'll take that. Next card is the Celts' favorite kind of card, Uncivilized, and it's City. Okay, which is also pinned and civilized too, but Uncivilized. If able to acquire another Uncivilized card, yes, they can do that. There are 2 in the market. Otherwise, do all that. No. Okay, so they're going to have 2 to choose from. Leadership, which is worth 1, and Religion, which is worth 1. Okay, so they're tied. They're tied with respect to tokens as well, so they'll take the one furthest on the left, Leadership. Another Uncivilized card, Elders. So we're going to get a repeat here. They're going to try to acquire an Uncivilized card. Yes, they sure can. There are 2 in the market. Religion's worth 1. Jade Mask here has the question mark on it. So with those, we always just go with the highest number printed next to it. So it says 1 VP if in history. We just consider this to be worth 1. That's it. Okay, both worth 1. No tokens, so the furthest on the left, I'll take Jade Mask. Last card for the Celts is a region, Hibernia. So they will do this. Gain 1 population, 1 material. Play the region, exile the card from the market. They will exile Invasion. That's the end of the turn for the Celts. Place progress on the 2 card in the market and refill their hand. I know what you're thinking. Will the Atlanteans roll another 5? They rolled 3 in a row. Will they roll another one? Let's see. No, it's 4. All right. So first card is Unrest. Probably going to see a lot of Unrest again. Grassland, a region card. Okay. So exile the card from the market and play the region. So they will exile Peninsula. Next card, more Unrest. And the last card is the Atlantean Fleet, which is an attack card and an empire card. Okay, so on their chart, attack comes before empire. Okay. Acquire any card, steal a progress, and force the Celts to recall a region. The Axumites are worth the most, so they're going to acquire that. They will steal 1 progress back from the Celts, who've been stealing their progress for some time. And they have to recall a region, so they'll take the region, the Celts will take the region most recently played, and since they're recalling it, rather than abandoning it, it goes back on top of their deck. Okay, so the Atlanteans place progress on the 4 card, and they will refill their hand. They didn't have enough cards to accomplish that, so top card from the Dynasty deck, and they will shuffle. The Celts also roll 4 and begin with some Unrest. And then more Unrest. Okay, and oh, Jade Mask. Okay, an Uncivilized card. So they're going to try to acquire another Uncivilized card. And yes, they can do it. There's 1 in the market right here, Religion, so they will take that. Last card for the Celts is another Uncivilized card, Leadership. So once again, they're going to try to acquire an Uncivilized card. And they can. Oracle is in the market, so they will acquire that. Okay, that's it for the Celts. They'll place progress on the 4 card in the market. Slide this down and refill their hand. Well, the Atlanteans are up to their old tricks. They rolled a 5 again. Alright, so they start with the Egyptians, a tributary. I don't think they care about tributaries on their chart, though, as I recall. They do not. Okay, so they're going to treat it as an other. Place the top card from the Dynasty deck into the discard pile, and this card goes into history. Okay, so top card from the Dynasty deck into discard, Egyptians to history. Next card is some Unrest. Then, okay, more tributaries. Axumites. So same thing. Top card from the Dynasty deck, and the Axumites go into history. Last card for the Atlanteans is Prosperity. Okay. So gain a progress per played region. They have one region in play, so they'll pick up one. And the Celts will discard a card. Okay, so they place progress on the 5 card, and they will refill their hand, but they only have 1, 2 cards left in their deck. So another card off the Dynasty deck, and they will shuffle. Back to the Celts, they roll a 3 and play Unrest first, then more Unrest, then more Unrest. Aha! More Unrest. Will it be a whole turn of Unrest? No. Okay. They play Religion, their favorite, an uncivilized card, also pinned, but uncivilized, of course, will come first. So they'll try to acquire another one. They certainly can. Boats right here. I'll take that. That's it for the Celts. They place progress on the 3 card in the market, and they will refill their hand. Okay, the Atlanteans do not roll a 5 this time, they roll a 3. They start with a region. Themyscira, something like that. Alright. It's a region. It's also an Empire card, interestingly. Okay, so we've got to be careful of that. I think region still comes first for them. Yeah, comes before Empire. Okay, exile the cards from the market, play the region. They exile the Minoans. Next card is another region, Mountain of Atlantis, also with the Empire symbol there, but still a region. So we exile a card and play this region. They exile Highlands. Next card is Prosperity. So this again, okay, gain 1 progress per played region. They have 3 in play now, so 3 progress. And the Celts discard a card. Last card for the Atlanteans is Spread of Atlantis, an attack and Empire card. Okay, so attack comes first. Acquire any card, steal a progress, and force the Celts to recall a region. So there are 3 cards in the market worth 3 victory points each: Coinage, Pharmacy, and Lakes. And the other 2 are worth fewer points than that, so those 3 are tied. So first tiebreaker is the most tokens, so that'll be Lakes. They will steal another progress from the Celts. The Celts will discard a card. Okay, so that's it for Spread of Atlantis. And the end of the Atlanteans' turn. They'll place progress on the 3 card in the market. Slide that down, refill their hand. Didn't quite have enough cards in their deck, so another Dynasty card and shuffle. The Celts roll a 6 this time. They're going to play all their cards, starting with one of their favorites, an uncivilized card, Oracle. And so they're going to try to acquire another uncivilized card, which they can do. There are 2 in the market, City and City. So they're tied there. Also tied with respect to tokens, so they'll take the one on the left. Next card is Unrest. And then more Uncivilized. Okay. So, try to acquire another one. Yes, there's 1 in the market. The other city. So we'll acquire that. Next card is Cattle Raid. Okay, it's an attack card. It's the first priority. Steal a material. The Atlanteans don't have any. And a progress. Okay, well they can get progress back from the Atlanteans. It's like a back and forth with that. Alright, that's it for Cattle Raid. Next card is Oracle. Okay, another uncivilized card. So they're going to try to acquire another uncivilized card. There is one in the market, another city, so they'll take that. Okay, that's the end of the Celts' turn. They don't place any progress because of the 6. They will just refill their hand. So we're at the point now in the game that I think is going to be determinant of the winner of this game, because there are no more uncivilized cards in the market. The uncivilized deck is empty, and so the only uncivilized cards left are just whatever's left in the main deck. Okay, and so the Celts now, the way the bot plays is typically that at this point they start giving a lot of unrest to their opponent and trying to trigger a collapse. So the question will be whether or not the Atlanteans can endure that or not. If they can't endure it, then the Celts will probably win due to a collapse. But if they can, then the Atlanteans will most likely win. They're just too good at getting victory points for the Celts to have much of a chance against them on that front. So the question is, can the Celts trigger that collapse or not? I think that will be the determinant of who wins. Okay, now that the market contains no more uncivilized cards, we should see that starting to happen. Okay, but we're on the Atlanteans' turn now. They roll a 1, and their first card will be a region, Lakes. And so they will exile a card from the market and play the region. They exile Forest. Next card is Advanced Culture, which is an Empire card. Nothing else going on there. Okay. If able, history a played region. Yeah, they can do that to acquire any card. Okay. Otherwise, break through for region, put this card in history. All right, they'll do the first thing and then put Advanced Culture into history. Okay, so they can acquire any card. They'll take Greeks, which is worth the most. Next card is the Palace of Poseidon, which is both pinned and Empire. So pinned is first. Acquire any card, put this card in history. They will take Pharmacy. Last card for the Atlanteans is Clito, which is an Empire card again. Okay. So if able, history a played region, yes, to acquire any, they can do that. And then this card will go into history. Okay, both Phoenicians and coinage are worth 3, but coinage has a token on it, so they will acquire that. That's the end of the Atlanteans' turn. They'll place progress on the 1 card and refill their hand. Okay, the Celts roll 3 and start with some unrest. And then, okay, it's an uncivilized card. It's also pinned. Okay, well, we're going to get uncivilized, of course. Okay, if able, acquire an uncivilized card. No, there's still no uncivilized cards in the market, so now they're not going to be able to do that. So now they start giving unrest to their opponent. So otherwise, gain 1 population, put this card into history, and give some unrest to your opponent. And for the next card, they're going to do it again. Okay, so gain population, put the card into history, and more unrest for the Atlanteans. And the last card is unrest. Okay, that's it for the Celts. Place progress on the 3 card and refill their hand. Couldn't quite get there, so card off the Dynasty deck and shuffle. Back to the Atlanteans. They roll a 1 and start with unrest. We're going to see the Atlanteans trying to shed a lot of unrest through the rest of this game. Okay, next card is coinage, which is pinned and Empire and civilized. Okay, pinned, I think. Acquire any card, put this card into history. So they'll take Moneylenders, acquire that. Next card, more unrest. And then Pharmacy. Okay, pinned, Empire, civilized. It's going to be pinned, I think. Yep. Acquire any card, put this card into history. Both Corruption and Phoenicians are worth 3, which is the highest value. But Corruption has a token, so they'll take that. Okay, that's the end of the turn for the Atlanteans. They'll place progress on the 1 card and refill their hand. Back to the Celts. They roll a 3 and start with some unrest. And then an uncivilized card again, City. There is an uncivilized card in the market though now, so they're going to acquire that. it is invasion. Next card is unrest, and then a region, Britannia. Okay. Region. Gain 1 population and 1 materials. Play the region, exile a card. They will exile the Scythians. That's it for the Celts. A progress on the 3 card, and refill their hand. Okay, back to the Atlanteans. They roll they roll a 3 and start with the Atlantean fleet in the attack card. Let's see, attack I think is before Empire. Yep. So acquire any card, steal a progress, and force the Celts to recall a region. So Cataphract and Phoenicians are tied, 3 points each, but Cataphract has a token, so they will acquire that. And they're going to steal another progress from the Celts, and force the Celts to discard a card. Oh, oops, that's not right. I read that wrong. They have to recall a region. That's what they have to do. Okay, so take the last region played and put it on top of their deck. There we go. Next card is Unrest, and then some more Unrest. Okay, go. And last card will be Moneylenders, which is an Empire card, and Civilized. I think Empire is going to come up first. Yeah, if able, history of played region to acquire any. Yeah, they can do that. And the Moneylenders will go into history. And they will acquire another Moneylenders. Okay, the Atlanteans will place progress on the 3 card and refill their hand. The Celts now roll a 6, so they're going to play all of their cards, starting with Druids, which doesn't have any symbols on it at all. So unless that card is named over here, it is not. We're going to go to Other. If able, return an Unrest from discard. No, they don't. They only have 1 card in the discard pile. It's not Unrest. Gain 1 progress. Discard the top card of the bot deck. Okay, so they'll do those last 2 things anyway. Next card is Unrest, and then an Uncivilized card. Okay, there are no Uncivilized cards in the market, so they're not going to be able to do that. So they'll gain a population, put this card into history, and force some Unrest on the Atlanteans. And then they'll do it again. So another Uncivilized card, still none in the market. So gain a population, put this card into history, and force some more Unrest on the Atlanteans. And last card will be a region, Hibernia. Okay. So gain a population and a material, play the region, and exile the card. They will exile Fortified Region. Since they rolled a 6, they will not place any progress, they'll just refill their hand. Back to the Atlanteans, they roll a 1 and play Unrest first, and then Moneylenders, okay, which is an Empire card. So, if able, history of played region to acquire any, yes, they can do that. They have 1 region in play, and the Moneylenders will go into history. Okay, 3 cards worth 3 points each, so they'll take the one that has a token on it, Education. Next is Unrest, and last card will be Cataphract, which is an attack card, as well as Empire. So attack, acquire any card, steal a progress, and force the Celts to recall a region. Well, interestingly, an Uncivilized card just came into the market, but the Atlanteans are actually going to take it because it's worth the most, so they're going to acquire it. And steal another progress from the Celts and force them to recall a region. Okay, this is the end of the turn for the Atlanteans. They'll place progress on the 1 card and refill their hand. Okay, back to the Celts. They roll a 3 and they start with Boudica, which is an attack and barbarian card. Attack is first. Steal a material and a progress. Well, Atlanteans don't have any materials, but they can take a progress back. Okay, so that's it for Boudica. Next card is, come on. Okay, Conquer. Okay, that's a named card for them on their chart here. Okay, if able, spend 3 population to break through for a tributary. Yeah, they could do that. They have plenty of population now. Otherwise, if able, acquire a region. Otherwise, you take unrest. Okay, so they're going to spend the 3 to break through for a tributary. So 2 tributaries available, both worth 3, both with no tokens, so they'll take Hittites from the left. They're breaking through, so no unrest. Next is boats, an uncivilized card. And now there are no uncivilized cards in the market again, so they'll gain a population, put this card into history, and give some unrest to the Atlanteans. And they'll do it again. Okay, so same thing, gain a population, put this card in history, some unrest to the Atlanteans. Okay, that's the end of their turn. They'll place progress on the 3 card in the market and refill their hand. So we're approaching the end of the game now, so I just want to take stock of what's going on. The main deck only contains 2 cards, so when that runs out, that triggers the game end, and they'll only and we'll just finish whatever round we're playing, and then we'll play one more round after that, and then that'll be the end of the game. And the unrest pile contains 3 unrest cards right now. A collapse would only happen if those 3 cards leave this pile. And of course, the Atlanteans are likely to slough off a couple more this turn. So I don't know if a collapse is likely, but we'll see. We'll see. Probably we're going to run out of cards in the main deck before a collapse could possibly happen, and that will trigger the end game there. But then it's still possible for a collapse to happen within the last round or so. Okay, anyway, back to the Atlanteans' turn. They roll a 1 and start with some unrest. Okay, so like I said, they're going to get rid of some of that this turn. Okay, and they play an uncivilized card, interestingly. Cannot. Okay, it's also pinned, which they care about more than uncivilized. Okay. Acquire any card and put this card into history. Alright, they're going to take the Temple, which is worth 5, along with its unrest. And this card will go to history. Next card, no surprise, is unrest. And the last card is education. Okay, which is a Empire card. Okay. So, if able, history a played region to acquire any... No, they can't. They don't have any regions in play. Otherwise, break through for a region and put this card into history. Well, there are 3 regions in play. This one's worth 3 because of the 3 progress on it, so I'll take that. Alright, the main deck is now empty. And interestingly, the last card was an uncivilized card. So that's probably not good news for the Celts. Okay, so that's empty. So that triggers game end. We are going to finish this round. So we'll finish up the Atlantean turn, and the Celts will have a turn. And then we get one more round. The Atlanteans get one more turn, the Celts get one more turn. And then that will be it. Alright, but that's the end of the Atlanteans' turn now, so they'll place progress on that 1 card. And they will refill their hand. Okay, so it's the beginning of the Celts' turns. There are 3 cards in the unrest pile. So let's see what they can do. They roll a 4, and the first card is Glory. Okay, so I believe that's a name for them. Yeah, here it is. If able, abandon 3 regions to gain the top Fame card. No, they only have 2 regions in play. Otherwise, discard the top Dynasty card and force the Atlanteans to take unrest. Okay, so they'll do that. So, top card from the Dynasty deck, and one of those unrest cards now goes to the Atlanteans. Okay, next is a tributary, the Hittites. Okay, the Celts have tributary on here. Oh, they do. Okay. Discard the top 4 cards of the bot deck. Put this card in history. Alrighty. That completely cleared the Celts deck. Okay, next card is a region, Hibernia. So they're probably just going to play that. Yep. Gain 1 population, 1 materials. Play the region and exile a card. Okay, they'll exile the Ionians, which will actually put an unrest card back on the unrest pile because there's no main deck to draw from anymore. Okay, so we're back to 3 there. Okay, last card is Leadership, an uncivilized card again. Okay, so we know what that means. They can't acquire an uncivilized card, there aren't any. That's not true. I lied. There is one, I forgot. City came into play, so they will acquire that. Okay, it's the end of the turn for the Celts. They'll place progress on the 4 card and refill their hand. But they're not going to have enough cards. They just have the city and the unrest that they just picked up. And so they'll take a dynasty card and shuffle. Okay, it's the last round of the game, and the Atlanteans are not messing around. They want to ensure victory, so roll a 6. And they'll start with Corruption, which is an attack and Empire card. But attack is first. Okay. Okay, acquire any card, steal another progress, and force the Celts to recall a region. The market's pretty picked over now, but there's still a tributary here worth 4 points, so they will take that. Okay, they stole another progress from the Celts and forced them to recall a region again. Next is a region, Archipelago, which will exile a card from the market and play this region. So, this card has a token on it, so they're going to exile this card. And there's still some cards in the region deck, so you could still add more of those. Next is Unrest, so that puts 4 Unrest cards. And then Temple, which is Pinned and Empire. So Pinned is first, acquire any card, and put this card into history. Okay, well they're going to acquire this region because it has a token on it. And Temple goes to history. Last card for the Atlanteans, no surprise, some Unrest. Okay, that's it for the Atlanteans. They don't place any progress because they rolled a 6. They'll just refill their hand, and they've got plenty of cards to do so. So that'll be the end for the Atlanteans. Nothing more for them to do. Alright, final turn of the game. The Celts roll a 1 and start with Unrest. So not great for them. Way too many Unrest cards now. There's no way they're going to be able to trigger a collapse. Okay. Next card is City. Okay, that's a uncivilized card. They can't acquire an uncivilized card because there aren't any more. So they'll gain a population, put this card into history, and force some unrest onto the Atlanteans. Next card is Conquer, which is a named card for them. If able, spend 3 population to break through for a tributary. Well, they have the 3 population, but there are no tributaries left. The market is completely annihilated here. There's only a few regions left. So they cannot do that. Alright, so if able, acquire a region. Hey, they actually can do that. Otherwise, force some unrest. Alright, they're going to acquire a region because they can still do that. So we'll take more. Last card of the game is a region, Armorica. So they're going to gain 1 population, 1 material, play the region, and exile a card. Not that it matters much, but they'll exile Sacred Pass. And the last card comes into play in the market. Okay, so that's it for the Celts. They would place progress on the 1 card, but there isn't one, so that does nothing. They'll just refill their hand and in their turn, and they've got plenty of cards with which to do so. So that is the end of the game. We will now tally up the scores and see who won. All right. Time to determine the winner of the overall tournament. So as usual, instead of adding up all the victory points and just seeing who has more, I like to just do a one-to-one match between them. So we'll just match 1-to-1 victory point for victory point, and whoever has some left over when the other has run out, that will be the winner. Okay, so we'll start with the tokens first. Progress tokens are worth 1 victory point each, so we have 4 over here for the Celts. So we'll take those away and we'll match it up with 4 over here for the Atlanteans. Okay, so that leaves the Atlanteans with 20 progress left, compared to the Celts have no progress left. Okay, now these tokens, each set of 10 is worth 1. So this is 10 population, that's worth 1. So I'll make some change here. So I have 8 here. I have to get 1 more. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Make some change. 2 more. There we go. And this doesn't add up to 10, so that's worth nothing. All right, so that's it for the tokens. The Celts are completely out, and the Atlanteans still have 19 left. Okay, so now what I did is I went through the Celts deck and found 19 points worth of cards. So these asterisks are worth 5 points each. We have a 3, and then question marks are worth whatever the highest listed number is. So this is just worth 1. Okay, so that's 15, 19. All right, so that takes care of the rest of those tokens. So now let's deal with unrest. The Celts didn't have any unrest, but the Atlanteans, oh boy. A ton of unrest cards still left in their deck. Okay, so 18 victory points worth of unrest, because each one is worth -2. So they have to pay that off with this 18 victory points here. Okay, so that offsets that. Okay, time for the final reckoning. As always, I've put the cards into 2 columns. So we'll just go and matching up victory points for victory points. And we'll just go down the column, and whichever side runs out of cards first, that is the loser. Okay, here we go. So 2 victory points to 2 here, 2 to 2, 2 to 2, 3 to 3. Okay. Well, the Celts ran out pretty quickly here. Yeah, so we have something like 50 victory points here, basically. I don't think it's quite that much. Let's see, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 39, 42, 44, 46, 48. Okay. So, as expected, the Atlanteans won by a good margin. So no surprise there. Like I said, if the Celts didn't find a way to trigger a collapse, then they would almost certainly lose, and that's exactly what happened. Okay? All right, my friends, there you have it. The Atlanteans are the ultimate winners of our little tournament, which has been a long time in the making. It's turned out to be quite a long project. I mean, you see the state of this piece of paper. It's been through it. All right. But anyway, the Atlanteans win, and I don't know, it almost seemed inevitable. It was very hard to see how the Celts could have won that. Like I said, maybe if they'd managed to force a collapse, but they weren't really anywhere close to doing that. The Atlanteans are just too good at dodging all the unrest, and even all the unrest they ended up with in their deck at the end, it was still easy for them to overcome that with all the other very valuable cards they had and all the progress they were able to attain. Okay, so what do you think? Are the Atlanteans overpowered? Just too good of a bot? Well, I don't know. On the one hand, remember these bots were made for solitaire play, not for nullitaire play. So, you know, if they were designed to be used like this, maybe there would have been more of an incentive to sort of balance them against each other. But for solitaire play, you know, maybe you want a really powerful bot to really challenge you. And maybe that's what the Atlanteans could be. Okay, so anyway, not a big surprise that the Atlanteans win, but our second place goes to the Celts, who made a good showing throughout the tournament as well. So, congratulations to the Atlanteans. There you have it. Okay, well, hope you enjoyed this series. I'll be back again with more to come in the future, and I hope you'll join me then. All right, till then.